Hey guys, Tom here. It is Friday, and you know what that means? It is time for happy hour. Today is going to be a little bit different, and I'm actually kind of excited about it because the basis of our conversation and our cocktails today is not going to be an alcohol. The basis of what we're going to do today is based on the mixer. And particularly, what mixer is this mixer? Ginger beer. And what is ginger beer? Well, it's different from ginger ale. Early, when sodas first started being made, they were basically all a fermented thing. They were naturally carbonated and fermented, and they all had a little bit of alcohol in them, usually less than 2%. Specifically, ginger beer, people would drink it all day long. It was digestive because of the ginger. And how that differentiates from ginger ale is a lot sweeter. It's not as gingery. Whereas ginger beer is really ginger spicy. It's not as carbonated, and it's just like it's a different drink, really. So when people started making ginger beer in England, this developed in England in the 1700s, they would export it all over the world, and people all over England and then worldwide started drinking ginger beer. By the mid-1900s, there was ginger beer shops like in every town, almost in every corner market in England. So that's a little bit about ginger beer. Now, what can you do with ginger beer? You can make two very famous drinks with ginger beer. The first is a rum-based drink, and it's become known as a Dark and Stormy. But not every rum and ginger beer drink is a Dark and Stormy, and here's why. In the 1860s, in Bermuda, the Gosling family had a rum distillery, and they perfected what they called Gosling Gold Seal rum, and they wanted to figure out how to market it. So about the same time when ginger beer was being exported all around the world, they kind of put the two things together after some experimentation, added some lime to it, and came up with the drink, the Dark and Stormy. But what happened in like the 1970s, as far as I could tell through my research, they actually patented and trademarked the name Dark and Stormy. And if you go to a restaurant and you see Dark and Stormy on the menu or in advertising or everything, by law it has to be made with Gosling Gold Seal rum. Any other dark rum and ginger beer drink by law cannot be called Dark and Stormy. And from what I've read, they've actually gone after people and had lawsuits and cease and desist orders and everything. That being said, if you have a rum and ginger ale, ginger beer drink, it's typically called a Rum Buck. So that's the first drink we're going to make, a not Dark and Stormy Rum Buck. So you take a tall highball glass, if you remember from our highball conversation a couple weeks ago, and fill it with ice. And then you get some dark rum. And we're going to put about 1.5 ounces in there. So you have 1.5 ounces of dark rum. And then we're going to put about 1/2 ounce of lime juice. And then finally, the ginger, top it off with ginger beer. Put a nice wedge of lime on there. Get yourself a little straw. And that is the not Dark and Stormy Rum Buck. Next, I'm going to tell you about the drink in the copper mug, the Moscow Mule. So what is the history of the Moscow Mule? In 1941, as legend, so they say, has it, a bar in Hollywood, California called the Cock and Bull was owned by a gentleman named Jack Morgan, who used to make and brew his own ginger beer. And he could not get rid of this stuff. People just weren't drinking ginger beer back then. Around the same time, another man by the name of John Martin had recently purchased the Smirnoff Vodka Company. And again, back in this time, post, around World War II or so, people weren't drinking vodka yet. Some people were drinking, but it wasn't mainstream the way it is now. People were drinking whiskey. So he would frequent this Cock and Bull restaurant, and they got to be talking one day. It's like, John's like, hey, I got all this vodka. I just can't rid of it. I can't sell. And Jack Morgan was the same thing. He's like, I have all this ginger beer that I just can't move. Enter the third person. And her name was Sophie Barazinski. She was a Russian immigrant whose family were coppersmiths, and they made copper mugs. And when she emigrated to America, she brought thousands of copper mugs with her. And she would go around door to door trying to sell copper mugs. So, as legend has it, the day Mr. Martin and Mr. Morgan were having this conversation of how they can get rid of their respective products, in walked Sophie, genial woman as she was, said, listen, I have these copper mugs. Why don't we put the three things together and see what happens? So they experimented. What they did was they put together Mr. Smirnoff's vodka, but I'm not using that today. They put together the vodka, added some lime juice, topped it off with ginger beer, a little squeeze of lime, and they had the Moscow Mule. Now, how it became Moscow Mule, I'm guessing Moscow from the Russian vodka. Mule, from what I've heard, because the ginger beer is very spicy and has a kick, mule kick, I don't know. But some say it's because it's anything with ginger is considered a mule, I don't know. But that's the Jack Morgan, John Martin, Sophie Barazinski collaboration that became known as the Moscow Mule. So whether you like it with rum or with vodka, give ginger beer a try. If you like ginger ale, it's a little more gingery. You can usually find it in just a regular grocery store. If you can't find ginger beer, you want to try these drinks, I would recommend don't use regular ginger ale. I found diet ginger ale tends to be a lot more gingery and a lot less sweet. So in a pinch, I guess you could try that, but try to find ginger beer, then you'll be glad you did. So that's it for this one, guys. Try these drinks, as always, try them responsibly. And until I see you next time, remember, take care of yourself and your home. Cheers.